Hey, my name is Dave Wheeler, aka Dave Wonder, comic artist, customizer, toy designer, live streamer, you name it, I do it. And I'm here to tell you that your childhood was trash if you didn't watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Welcome to Your Childhood Was Trash, the podcast where we explore the pop culture touchstones that shaped our guests' childhoods. From movies and TV shows to video games and toys, we'll cover it all. My name's Mike, and I'm here with my co-host Nick. And in every episode, we're joined by a special guest who shares their favorite childhood property with us and discusses how it influenced their life. If you decided to talk about Ninja Turtles, so what is your earliest memory that you could think of the Ninja Turtles?
Oh man, my earliest memory, strangely enough, is attached to a cookie container from Ninja Turtles. It was this like big hollow plastic thing. It's the first thing that I think of because I remember growing up. Half my family's from the Iron Range here in Minnesota. And there was this dude in a foam Ninja Turtle suit. I was a big cartoon fan and stuff. And I remember seeing him there, and they were handing out these cookie containers. I still have one of those cookie containers. I use it to house all my accessories. But
That's
I
awesome.
guess outside of, the usual, like, I watched a cartoon, I saw a commercial type thing, it would be, that cookie container. Kind of strange, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an interesting way to get into a new property is by a cookie container.
I mean, I was into it from the cartoons, but like, a television show is something great. But if you go across into anything else, I don't know. It was just that thing of that was the first memory that like really popped outside of sitting in front of a TV.
And that just resonated with you and spiraled into
a
love of Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, like starting with the cartoon, getting into like realizing that there were toys, realizing that there were gimmicks and stuff like that were out there was just incredible. I remember like there were puffy stickers that quote unquote smelled like pizza, aka they smelled like Italian seasoning. And I remember begging my mom to get a set of those at, like the whopping $1.20 or whatever it was. And I remember I had one up. I put it on the bottom of my bunk bed because my brother and I shared bunk beds. And oh my god, it's
nice.
terrible.
You had to clear your space.
That is very period-esque.
Yeah.
Puffy stickers, little kid
stickers,
kids just being obsessed with whatever. There's a lot of stuff, right?
Oh god, there was everything. I mean, pudding pies, ice cream pops. Can you tell I was a chubby kid? I was all about the food. But
I don't think anything was marketed more than Ninja Turtles with the products. Like, it was insane. Yeah.
There was everything, and I loved it. It was
Didn't they have like those Hostess pies too?
They had Hostess, or was it Hostess? Yeah, the pudding pies that had green ooze filling.
Exactly.
Yes.
Fluorescent green vanilla pudding. So here's my psycho thing. I have a wrapper, not one with a pie in it, but I have a wrapper of that was bequeathed to me. And
that's so cool.
It is in a little folder down on my turtle shelf.
I mean, that makes sense. I wouldn't want almost 30-year-old pie sitting around. But dude, a wrapper, sure.
It's still good too if there is one. With sugar in it.
The pudding is now hard candy. The funny thing is, I think it was Dinosaur Dracula, another YouTuber, fantastic journalist when it comes to toys and everything retro, who opened up like a 30-year-old can of Turtles SpaghettiOs or something like that, and it was like black.
I saw that.
It was so gross. I'm like, why would you do that? That's just botulism vapors like seeping into your soul.
Did he eat it though?
But I mean, did he eat it?
I didn't stick around long enough.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Chef Boyardee has his limits.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my dad, growing up, my dad actually was a delivery driver for Hostess, so he would
Oh
come home
shit!
with those pies all the time. And I'm sad to say I don't have anything of like the wrappers or anything like that, but I do have the memories of
You
eating a
might
lot of
want to
those
get
as a
checked
kid.
because you might have diabetes. 'Cause holy shit,
I
those
wasn't gonna go there, but I was thinking it. I was like, there's no
I,
way we ate those as children and didn't.
I remember vividly. It was my birthday, which I'm a January kid, and I remember one of my friends got me a pudding pie, and it had sat in his mom's car all day. And then, like, a bunch of kids came over for like a sleepover. We played video games.
Yeah.
We watched movies. It was fun. And I remember he brought it in, and he's like, "Hey, Dave, I got you a pudding pie." And he like puts it on the table, and it was just like, I was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Is it a brick?" It didn't stop my fat butt. I friggin' sucked on that thing like it was a damn lollipop. It was
That's
amazing.
nice.
It's made it last that much longer.
Is it bad that I can still remember the taste of it when I was a kid?
It's because
Yeah.
part of it is still lodged in your mouth, man. Like, it's just the coating that won't go away, bro. Like,
It actually changes your DNA.
yeah,
Because it's so toxic.
You're 132nd pudding. Like, don't take the 13andMe test, because guess what? Part of it's gonna come back pudding.
Every child who ate one of those is now related.
Yeah, right. Gene pool's a jacuzzi, a pudding jacuzzi.
We're just hoping it would mutate us, right? As kids, like this looks like the stuff that they had. Let's try
Didn't
it.
it though? My hair does this naturally.
I had to work
to
hard.
guys. Yeah,
Huh?
I said, look what it did to you guys.
Right? Yeah.
This is from an endless supply of those.
Your hair became pudding. It just slides off.
Yeah. They don't have to shave. It just like.
So good.
It's like the movie Slither, but sorry.
Oh, good movie. Good movie though.
Would Night of the Creeps be a better deep dive? Little slug creatures.
Oh, that's an interesting picture you're painting.
Welcome to my world. Don't do drugs, kids, because you know what? I don't, and I'm like this.
Don't do turtle pies, kids, is what you mean. Don't do turtle pies.
Don't do, especially 30-year-old ones. Just don't. I don't care what trend you want to do. Just don't do that.
Look into my veins. Oh, my dog just burst in when I said hook into my veins. Hi, Stormy.
He's like, I'm at it.
No, I'm not.
Tide pies are okay. Turtle pies, no.
I'm not actually.
No.
My veins.
Disclaimer: don't do the Tide Pods either.
Come here, Stormy. Come here.
Gonna get us in trouble in episode 1.
Oh,
That just means we're doing it right if we're upsetting someone.
there's a Stormy. Sorry.
Oh, hey, puppy.
Yeah. She always comes in for her snug. Sorry about that.
No worries.
My dog's asleep upstairs with my other kid.
Yep, same here.
Go see Mama. There we go.
All right. So, Cookie Tin, Turtle Pies. Did you collect the toys as a kid, or was it just a casual experience?
It was that thing of like. I remember, I think it was Christmas. My brother got 2 of the turtles, and I got 2 of the turtles. I got Mikey and Donnie, and he got Raph and Leo.
Nice.
And Mikey's my dude. I will say that outright. He's my favorite turtle. Cowabunga, dude, all that fun stuff. Or Booyaka Shot, depending on the generation. But, it was the thing of it was like forced sharing. It's like, guess what?
Yeah.
You're going to play together and you're going to like it. I mean, we did that anyways. We got 5 years between us. But, if you wanted to play Turtles, you can play just single turtle, solo adventure or something like that. But this was like, no, you play together. Like, teamwork, force.
You like it.
Yeah. But, and the cool thing is I still have those original core 4 turtles. The brothers are actually up on my shelf. My brothers and my original ones, I plopped them on cheapskates so they could stand up. because they have those sweet
Nice.
scoliosis toes going on, where it's just like, no, we will just keep curving as hard as we can. Extreme
Yeah.
ninja posing. And yeah, they're all on the cheapskates because those were cheaper than like the 3D printed stands that you can get. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
they're fan skateboards, cool. So,
Wow.
and
Okay.
then the rest of my vintage ones, outside of a handful of them, are actually in a case in my son's room, my oldest son's room, because I played with mine. Like, my brother, and we played with them to the ends of the earth, and
Yeah.
they are not they're not salvageable for
Uh,
going, look at my totally crisp minty metalhead. Mine are
yeah.
like, hey, if you shake them, they make cool noises.
Yep. Yep.
There's sand and 30-year-old gummy bears stuck in there, and a bunch of them are like randomly missing forearms. Like, I,
Okay.
the weird thing is I like so all of the Ninja Turtle stuff was kept in a nondescript duffel bag in our toy box, which I later found out was actually a wood cache. But like my parents were like, toy box, sure. Uh,
It
and so
works.
they were in a duffel bag, and like my mom found it out in the garage, and she was like, "Hey, do you want these?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah." So I started going through them, and I was taking them out. I'm like, "Where's his forearm? Where's his forearm?" Like, and it was always the left forearm, and I
Huh.
can't figure out why. But all the forearms were in there. They weren't broken. Like the pegs weren't snapped. Like, and I don't ever remember just being like popping out the frigging forearms. But I
With
yeah
your
heated them
brother.
up, and I popped them all back in except for Panda Khan, which for some odd reason I jammed his samurai sword, like his katana, into the joint, and so
Oh
he's
man.
like a badass samurai version of Captain Hook, like that's also a
That's
panda
awesome.
because Ninja
That's
Turtles.
awesome.
Um, but yeah, no, so like like I remember those. Um, we didn't have the play sets like the Technodrome or the Sewer Layer. I do now though. Haha, adulting. Um, but
Or hoarding.
I got the Party Wagon and the Sewer Cycle were the two vehicles that we had. And then like a random foot soldier one like way later. But I got the Christmas 1991. I got the Turtle Party Wagon. It's like one of the few home movies that survived all these years. And
Nice.
I literally take it out and go, James, can you help me with the stickers? Because I was like 4. Like
Nice.
I was the kid who would be like, foot stinks. Like, yes, perfect. Oh, I have to put this on there. Like, to take it off. And
Oh, not the party. See, that's what happens
yeah,
when you eat the turtle pies. Is
yeah.
Yes.
you just stick the stickers
Yeah.
to yourself
Leave it for
instead.
me, right?
I'm
I'm
a
a
party
winner.
wagon.
Yeah.
I think the turtle pies are the exact opposite to me. I had to have all my stickers on straight, and they had to go where they were supposed to go, or I was upset.
Okay, question for you, Mike, though. How old were you when you got it?
I was probably maybe around like 6 because
Okay, so
I was
you had a
born in
couple years
'84.
on me. I was at the point where I was like, hey, you know that scratch and sniff sticker? I'll put it right here. Now I'm gonna always smell pizza.
And you always smell it. That's
Yeah,
sound logic. There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with. There's nothing. It's
I was
flawless.
I wasn't a bright child.
I mean, I don't think any of us were.
That's fair. Clearly
Look,
pudding pies.
as
Exactly.
products of the 80s and 90s, we were not smart children. None of us were.
We saw fluorescent green goo come out of food, and we went more.
Exactly.
Can I have that?
Yeah.
Can we? Can I
Yeah,
get my
that's
own
something.
tube?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If I drink it, do I also turn into?
When the food is this color, run. I
exactly.
just held up a fluorescent green skeleton from Boss Fight Studios because this is an audio format, I'm guessing.
No, we're doing video, so
Oh, fantastic!
yeah. So make sure you're looking your best.
This is video and audio.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's-
jeez.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I had a very similar situation where the kid with the toys just consistently it was like you're gonna play with them and then you're just gonna do weird things with them. Used to have like battle royales with all of my toys.
Hell yeah!
Uh,
Were you a wrestling fan?
I had the wrestling ring too.
Okay.
So everybody, we had GI Joes, Turtles, we had them all. I had them all in there, and they were jumping off the top rope, clotheslining each other.
I remember taking Mikey over to my buddy's house, and we were having the Royal Rumble, and he had
Obviously,
that LJN ring, which later became the Monster ring, like just this behemoth of a
oh
ring.
yeah,
And we were just like piling toys in it, and the Royal Rumble was us shaking the bejesus out of it, and the last one left was the winner of the Royal Rumble. And Mikey, can I curse on this?
yeah,
Absolutely.
Mikey fucking won.
There you
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
His hook arm just like hooked onto the rope and got tangled up. Like,
It's
unlike
every
before,
Royal Rumble ever.
he came out with both ears and victory.
Nice.
Love you, Mick. That's a story for another day. Anyways,
I'm Nick.
no, Mick
Oh.
Foley.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Mick Foley.
Yeah,
That guy.
he's a wonderful son of a gun.
But yeah, that's awesome though.
Yeah.
Now, see, my biggest thing is with the toys. I don't think there was any better feeling than, and this is a cardinal sin nowadays, but chewing on the head of a soft shell turtle.
Whoa, I never had soft shells.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because like all mine were hardhead ones, and I know because like the two. Oh, sorry, my wife keeps coming in, and I'm like, "What'd I do?"
You're
like
conditioned.
all of like the OG ones, it's like none of. Hey, I mean now I know like this, like you can squeak them, but like all of them have like gashes from like I'm sure running them on the cheapskate or the sewer cycle down the driveway. So we had a little incline on the driveway, but it was like go like friggin'
Oh,
Mad
yeah.
Max style. Like everybody was welcomed in Thunderdome. Like those were rough.
As they should be.
But I also the weird thing is again I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 87. I'm as old as the Turtles are. Well, technically a year younger than the Turtles are. But anyways, math. It was one of those things of like I didn't come in with the Eastman and Laird comics. I came in with the Archie comics. That's how I got started in reading the Ninja Turtles. And nothing against the Eastman and Laird comics because I've read them all. I have them collected because those old ones are
Oh yeah,
they're spicy.
Yeah.
But
just a wee bit.
but that Archie run is, I would argue, is probably one of the most formative reading experiences I had as a kid because I couldn't get them at most of the local shops here because they probably got them in and they sold like that. It was still Turtle Mania. But I used to get them at the gas station on the way up to visit my grandparents or my aunts or uncles in Hinckley, Minnesota at Cassidy's Golden Pine a restaurant and entertainment hall. I don't know what else to call it. But
Okay.
they had a magazine rack and a spinner rack. And so it was like,
Everybody did.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was the thing of like going up there. I remember I got most of my Maximum Carnage issues there too. Like I got a lot of key memories from that place and some
Nice.
really good free bread. But yeah, those Archie comics, like specifically, oh God, now I'm blanking on the issue number, but it was the first issue with Wingnut in it, Wingnut and Screw Loose.
Okay.
And I lost my shit. I'm like, oh my God, like you can make comics out of cartoons. Like I didn't understand that. Again, I was young. And I don't know, it opened up a whole batch of worms, them things of worms. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the proper phrase. It's not coming this evening. But
Can of worms.
Yeah,
can of worms. There we go. But
I like how we all had to think about that.
I definitely had to put way more effort into that than I wanted to.
It's the turtle pies. The turtle
it's all the
pies.
pudding.
Yeah.
But see, brain put. We found that part of you that's pudding. It's just all our brain. But like Ken Michironi's art was some of that stuff that just it's lodged up here, and I've been very lucky to have gotten to meet him a couple times, and I own an original Ken Michironi piece that he drew for me.
That's awesome.
That is framed upstairs, and Turtles were always, I don't want to say an escape, but they were always the thing of like, it didn't matter if you had a good day or a bad day. You could pick up a turtle comic or go play with your turtle toys, and it just became this awesome, crazy thing that was just this insane boost to serotonin for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I was probably the only Midwestern kid who, where someone would watch a cartoon and go, "Oh, Cowabunga!" Oh man, tubular, radical,
Yep.
bodacious, all that stuff got friggin' lodged in my lexicon, and all of a sudden I was just, I was that dude that was running around speaking like a surfer. Meanwhile, little little bow hunk baby running around just going, and people going, huh? Like, is he okay? Type
It's a
thing.
turtle thing.
Yeah. Which also, like, as a kid, I remember drawing the turtles since they only had, like the three fingers, like thing. It was that thing of this, like the hang loose, like hand gesture was one of those things that I could draw very easily for a turtle to do. So like, and to this day, if you ask me to draw Michelangelo at a show, I will draw Mikey going ah, because
As they
for
should be
me that
drawn.
it's what yeah, it's just that thing that's lodged in my head. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I mean that's the great thing about Turtles is not so much the comics with Eastman and Laird, but with the cartoon is they just hit so many different personalities between the four turtles and then Splinter that some character resonated with every kid.
oh
It's
definitely.
true.
I mean, the spectrum of characters, whether it be based on the animals or personalities or anything. For God's sake, they had a musical tour. Like, again, like I am probably again one of those kids who could sing along to all of the Coming Out of Their Shells tour soundtrack. I I'm the psycho that has a live recording on my friggin' computer and my
I
phone.
I had that recorded VHS tape because they put one out of the concert,
Oh,
and I
I
had that, and I watched it on repeat constantly as a kid.
I ripped that to digital format. I have two versions. I have the original poster art version box, and then I have the later released bright green one and the making of the Coming Out of Their Shells tour
That's
because
that's awesome.
I was so into that. And like, you listen to the music and there's lines like, you gotta fight to be free, you gotta fight for what is right, and it's like, this is a Ninja Turtles musical. They're selling laser swords in the friggin' lobby, and these guys are like laying down some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Shredder coming out and singing I Hate Music, which is ironic because he's singing I Hate Music, is one of those things that even as a
Hypocrite.
kid,
Musical.
I was just like, he's not a smart man, is he? Uh, but also like they had the I don't remember what they were called now. The bandoliers that they wear to go out to reflect the rays that were stopping the music. And like, again, my dad was a bit of a nerd. He watched, like, he loved Star Trek and stuff, and I love Star Trek too. Like, Picard season 3 made me fucking cry. But it was one of those things of, they came out, I'm like, they're Klingons. Uh, like, I was totally stoked that the Ninja Turtles' way of stopping Shredder was borrowing tech from the Klingons. Was that the fact? No, not in the least bit. But Worf had
Headcanon.
one just like it. Uh,
Headcanon counts.
yeah, right. But
It's-
yeah, I mean, again, it was that weird thing of music, comics, toys, uh, erasers,
Oh
watches,
yeah.
like clothing. I mean, you name it. There was pudding pies. There was turtle everything, and that was like, I will fully admit, it was one of those things of like, my folks didn't have a lot of cash to like throw around at that type of stuff, but
yeah.
like, it was one of those things, like, I still have such crazy memories about so much of that stuff. I also have memories of my friend nearly destroying his parents' TV because we were playing the Nintendo game and he couldn't fucking make the jump gap, and I'm just like, no, you just walk over it. He's like, what? I'm like it that simple.
Uh,
But I love that game. I have only ever beaten it once, and I went, you know what?
The first
Cool.
one.
Yeah, I'm out. Well,
Yeah.
but you've
No.
accomplished what 90% of the population can't. So congratulations.
It took me a very long
Look,
time.
90 is a very low number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
All right.
yeah. But again, like it was such a cult. It was a cultural phenomenon. You had Batmania, you had Turtle Mania. There were so many things that exploded in the late '80s, early '90s, to the point of fanaticism. Is that right? Anyways,
Sounds
but I
right.
made a word. Uh, but it's that thing of it. It went into every part of your life, and it's that thing of you don't really realize until you're our age of going, holy shit. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, like you grew up in that time, you were part of something amazing. And that's why that time period is just so great, because if you look at everything nowadays, it's our childhood
Oh,
coming
yeah.
back.
Again.
And from the dead. No, but there's certain things. Turtles have never gone away. That's what's amazing about them, is there's been so many iterations of them. They're timeless.
They
They
keep
span so
reinventing
many
themselves.
generations, and they do it well. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's aimed at older kids, younger kids. Anyone can enjoy these cartoons. They're so good.
And that's the cool thing. Like my 6-year-old son, when he was 2-ish, I want to say maybe 2 and change, he wasn't very vocal. Lots of grunts, lots of like it was that type of stuff. And we started watching the Fred Wolf cartoon because I was like, well, it's goofy, it's over the top, it's a lot of action, but it's not a lot of violence per se.
Yeah.
And I actually was able to tell this story to Townsend Coleman, the original voice of Michelangelo.
Yeah.
My son's first real word was him shouting out "Cowabunga," which was
That's
Cowabunga.
awesome.
And
Nice.
it got him speaking. It got him like into like I don't know if it just helped him click, like, because obviously he was saying other words after that, but it was that moment of like he did that. I'm like, wait, what? Like, you did what? And we watched that together, and a couple years later we started watching the 2012 series together, and he is like, I will put it this way. It is a pain in the ass to find stuff from the TMNT 2012 series, like bedding and clothes and stuff like that. Because he's like, can I get a T-shirt? I'm like, I'll find you one. Like, and thankfully, like, Facebook Marketplace, all that stuff. There's a lot of people who have kids who have grown out of it. But
Yeah.
like, his room looks like a damn Kmart ad.
That's
because,
awesome.
Because I was able to hunt down some stuff, and he and I collected the toy line together. See, you know what I'm
That's
talking
super.
about. But like, he and I collected
yeah.
the toy line together because, again, like, none of those, or okay, most of those figures aren't particularly expensive figures. Like, I go to toy swaps and stuff locally, or Comic Cons, or collectible shops and stuff too. And you're looking five, six, maybe $10 tops for a loose figure. Some
That's
on card
perfect.
ones you can get for under 20. And that was the thing of like, for years going to shows, like, I'd try and find him like at least one dude, like, one character, one weird version, and I'd bring it back and he would lose his mind.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and he still, like, I set up, actually on the other side of this wall is like the under the stairs like area.
Yeah.
And so he's a little too big for it now, but I set up the 2012 sewer layer playset underneath the stairs, and like put down a carpet and put a little shelf in there so he could put all his dudes. And so, like, he has his own sewer layer playset,
That's
or
awesome.
his own sewer layer, really, because
Yeah.
literally, like, I would be working in here on whatever I'd be working on, and he'd be like, can I play on the sewer layer? I'm like, yeah, man. And I could hear him through this piece of drywall. So it's always funny because I'd listen to his stories and his adventures, which inevitably resulted in, someone stole the pizza. We need to find the pizza. Oh, Shredder took the pizza. Shredder, are you hungry? Do you want pizza? I'm like, all right, shit. Domino's could have fucking saved the world.
If only.
As long as it was in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Or less, yeah.
Dude's got 30 seconds. But it's that thing of, I'm so stoked to share something that I loved with him, and like, it wasn't like, you will like turtles. It was just that thing of, this is bright, this is colorful, this is something that I
Yeah.
can put on, because some Disney movies scared him when he was really little. Like some of them get really dark really quick. This
Yeah.
one has frigging Michelangelo going, oh, look, jelly bean whipped cream and, tuna fish pizza. And he's like, ugh. I'm like, you want to try it? Yeah. Uh, but,
How do you even do that?
it was that goofy shit, and I loved it. And again, the ability to share that with him and see him like really, really dig on like wanting to learn how to skateboard, seeing him, talk about, stuff that he would learn from the show, stuff that, he would ask questions about. Um, and yeah, that was really, 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 really cool. I mean, comics and reading and Spider-Man and Transformers and stuff. Like he's gotten in and out of some of that stuff, but like he will mainline a book. You give him a book
Nice.
now, and he will lay down, and it got a couple hours. Like so. I found all those Archie comics that when they collected them, he's read all of them now. Well,
That's
most of them.
awesome.
I didn't give him a couple of the weirder later ones, but that shit got weird. But
Yeah, see, I missed all that. I never got into any of the comics. I think I had one comic when I was a kid from Turtles, and that was the graphic novel they put out of the first movie.
Oh, the movie adaptation.
Or no, the second one. Sorry, Turtles 2. I had that one.
That one's fucking weird.
It's super weird, but it's super good at the same time. I loved it as a kid. That was the only media, like comic media, that I had from the Turtles as a kid. Surprisingly.
See, like I had an older brother, so like he was into comics before I was into comics, so therefore I got into comics. I was really, really, really lucky that way. I'll just put it this way: my middle name's Parker, and that's a story for another day. We're focusing on Turtles here, not the old webhead. But yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
That's good. When were you introduced into the movies, live action stuff, besides the musical special?
I mean, outside of the cartoons and stuff, like the actual like original 90 movie, I want to say like this is where I get a little fuzzy because I remember seeing it in the theater, but I don't think my parents would have taken me to it. But like I have vivid memories of Secret of the Ooze and Turtles 3, seeing them in the theater because I was a little bit older. But like the OG one, I remember seeing in the theater, and the reason why I remember seeing it in the theater is because of that OG poster with them like peeking out from the sewer.
Iconic.
They
So
had the
good.
big cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember like walking up and being like wanting to see if I could go in the sewer. Like I was that kid that, and granted, I think it was my brother messing with me. Well, I know it was my brother messing with me, but he'd be like, "Say hi to the turtles." Like I'd walk over a sewer lid and I'd be like, "Hi, Mikey." Like
I think we all did that though.
Yeah,
we all did that.
But I will catch flack for this. Like the OG has a very special place in my heart, and for many, many reasons. Secret of the Ooze is the one that hit me at the exact right time, at the exact right age. Like I was old enough to remember everything, the marketing, the commercials, like the movie star turtles and Toka and Razar coming out. Like
those are so good.
that stupid high pitched, doot 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 doot, from the beginning to yeah, like that is ingrained in here. And it also taught me how to fold pizza.
Right?
You learn stuff.
There you go.
But that was one of the like Turtles 3, awesome. I have a lot of good memories too. But it was that weird thing of it was kind of like original came out for me, and I was like, ooh, Turtles. Secret of the Ooze came out, and was like, yeah, Turtles. Turtles 3 came out and went, oh, Turtles.
Yeah.
Like Splinter looked like a Build-A-Bear.
He was the worst.
I was introduced to Tarzan to Tarzan Boy from Baltimore, and a new love was born there. But also my love of flying kites. But like Secret of the Ooze was definitely one of those things. Like that Bartman glass. My buddy Scotty Wold. Shout out to Scotty if you're listening. Scotty Wold had that Bart glass that they mix the retro mutagen in. And I remember as like seeing the movie and be like, did they take that from your house? Like,
He's like, and of course back then the answer was yes. Yeah, of course they did. They borrowed it from me. They gave it back after the movie was done. That's how. Yeah, this is the one they used.
They gave me backstage passes. I met the Turtles because of it. It was great.
I just remember being an absolute idiot. And so remember when they find the dandelion at the TGRI site, and it's clearly a paper flower, and they're like, oh, dandelions, you know. And as a little kid, I'm like, I'm gonna grow fucking huge dandelions. Like, that is one of my favorite accessories from NECA is fucking Secret of the Huge Shredder came with the giant dandelion. I'm like, ah. And I also remember being a little kid and seeing a sunflower on the side of the road. I'm like, pull over! We need to go to the pet store and get some turtles.
There's mutagen over there.
Like, we're doing it. Like, again, it was that thing of just like, oh! Like, I just wanted to run over and snap the stem, like, you know, which is horrible. Like, my wife is an amazing gardener now, and like I told her about like running over to a sunflower and going, and she's like, you murdered that flower. Like, yeah,
oh man.
Look, we did a lot of dumb things back in the day because I did the same stuff.
I think we all did.
I think,
the way to do it.
So you mentioned the movie Star Turtles.
Yeah.
Can I just mention that a little part of me was sad when I got my first NECA turtle figure from the movie line because I was hoping that it would feel like that with the rubber and the softness. Because they in the package they look like it. They look like they would feel like the movie Star Turtles, and they don't. And I was like, I was hoping for that nostalgia punch in the face of the rubber arms and legs.
I will say this: I didn't own movie Star Turtles until I was much older. Like, I ended up getting, I don't remember where the hell I got them from, but one of my friend's kids when I was living in Savannah, Georgia, because that was the Turtles that I brought down with me, discovered Ninja Turtles because I watched him for a couple days, like when his dad was out of town, and he's like, I want to play with Turtles, and there was nothing on the store shelves at that time. So I was like, here, you can play with these. And like I was like, dude, these weren't mine as a kid, you know, like these are just Turtles I got down here. And I was like, here, he still has them, like, which is kind of cool. And that was like 15 years ago.
Nice.
And I mean, they were kind of beaten up anyways, but you know, it was that funny thing of one of my many jobs in my lifetime was I was a toy buyer for a local shop here in the Twin Cities called Hot Comics and Collectibles. Go check it out if you're in the Twin Cities, because I still do social media for them and they're fantastic people. Anyways, G-plug. Yeah. But I was a toy buyer, so like people would come in and go, oh, hey, I have a collection to sell. Oh, I have, you know, like every day people came in. Oh, I have a collection to sell. Oh, I have this to sell. It's like, okay, cool. And oh my God, like, okay, soft heads, I've seen melted. I've seen tears in them. I've seen hard heads that look like a dog got to them. Movie Star Turtles were a different beast, though. I found those things in tubs fused to each other. I found them
like melted.
Like just because, again, what they were made out of, it's just like they take on smells quite easily. So there were ones where, like, okay, do you remember those like wall walkers? You could like throw them at the wall and then go.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Scholastic bookstore, I'd always buy one in school.
Just saying, there were a few movie Star Turtles that I took out that A, contact high, B, you could throw at the wall and they would do that walk. It was like, oh, icky sticky, little purple love. But you know, it was that thing of there was those movie Star Turtles were a goddamn nightmare. Anytime I see them at the bottom of a bin, it was like, oh, are they going to be furry? Can you take them onto it? Oh,
like,
dude, I found ones with mold on them. Like, and again, it's just because of the materials that they were made out of. It's a different thing, you know. None of them were like you know, there were some that were in plastic bags that were fine, or that were, you know, on top of tub that were fine, and there were some that were left in a garage attic for 20 plus years that came out like a lifesaver gummy that smelled like a butt.
No, that's what they put inside the friggin' pies.
Spoiler alert, the turtle pies were melted. Movie star.
I believe my all-time favorite was I I was unpacking a bunch of turtles and, going through, like, taking out accessories and stuff. And it comes to the storage shell turtles. I love the storage shell turtles. They looked so cool. They looked fierce. They were bright color belts. They're badass. I have the
They're
Blu-ray
huge
over there. Yeah. Like, I loved them. And I was like, I always check to see if there's the ninja stars on the inside and see if there's anything on the inside. I opened up one of them, like, weed. Damn it. Like, like I opened up the second one, more weed. I'm like, come on. Like, and so the funny thing was,
it's not
what?
it's not really a bad place, I think, if you're into that.
It was just that thing of, like, I'm in the middle of a comic book store and I am cleaning turtles and separating turtles and trying to make an offer on this. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're going to ask for more because I found this. But like,
Don't tell them.
No, but I did, because it was the thing of, they came back in and they're just like, so, and I'm like, well,
I'm missing something.
Well, I found a few things, like, well, because it was like, I found, like, a high school ring. I found, like, there was a couple things like that were in the bin where I'm like, I found this, I found that. And I said, and the storage shell turtles were packing a little something. And you could see the son behind the dad go, and it's just like, oh, and the dad goes, just throw it away. And he, like, looks down at the kid. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm just gonna.
But I mean, it was that funny thing of, like, again, it was just, it was that thing of, like, hey, just as a heads up, like, I found this. I don't know if that's what it was. It was. But I was always trying to be upfront with people of just like, hey, like, this is why this costs this much, this costs that much, et cetera, type thing. And I mean, I was lucky enough to handle some absolutely amazing pieces over the years when I was doing that, and it was always fun because there's so many figures from that line, from Rise, from 2012, from everything, from Next Mutation, like, even
they pumped them out.
But
the Next Mutation,
dude, I hated that show, but those toys are fucking rad, man. Like, I love those toys. You want to talk about weird rubber bendy figures? Next Mutation. Like, I can't even get Donnie to stand up. I have him lodged on a foot soldier. But again, it was that thing of, like, the Mutaraft. Do you remember the Mutaraft? I remember the Mutaraft, but that's because of the frigging ads that were in the back of comics and stuff. And getting to handle one of those, I was like, I'm gonna buy this, and then realizing,
is that the inflatable tube?
No. Those are the sewer tubes. The Mutaraft, I have one. It's right over there, courtesy of Mark Bitters from Turtle Talk. It was one of the mutating vehicles. So, like, you could basically convert it. Like, it had two different forms or functionalities.
Okay.
I just remember it being really cool and, like, discovering stuff through that. And, being such a psycho fan, when all that stuff was coming out, like, I was still learning about new stuff that was coming in. Like, I would see these weird variants, like sewer tubing Leo, and scuba diving Raph, which were just redecos of sewer surfing Mikey. I have sewer tubing Leo over there. He's beautiful and neon, and it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
And Raph, the scuba diving Raph was a redo of. Well, I guess scuba diving Mikey, but I think it was like a Navy SEAL or something. Like, I don't remember. There was some gimmick behind it.
No, yeah. But they put out so many variants, like the sports ones. The
Westerns, the military, 2 series of military,
the Star Trek ones,
the transforming ones.
Yep, all the mutations ones. I think like I said, the storage shells were some of my favorites. The other ones that I didn't learn about until years later were Coil Force, which had steel coils like the Ronin Warrior figures.
Yes, and
I
remember those.
They weighed a bloody ton, and you could knock someone out with those things. Like, they had power behind them. Nice. I know, because I was like, "What's this do?" I was like, "Ah."
Oh no, Dave, how'd you get a black eye?
Yeah. Who hurt you? Donatello.
What's his real name?
Yeah. Donatello, I don't know. His last name's Turtle. But I have this. I've developed this like strong nostalgia because after the core four turtles, like, you know, again, we didn't have like a ton of variants and stuff like that like in my brothers and my collection. Um, but like I remember we got the cowboy Sheriff Donnie for my dad. He was Texan. My brother really liked baseball, so he had baseball Raph. But like I do remember we had all four of the what I call second gen of the core four, which was Sewer Surfing Mikey, Sewer Samurai Leo, Undercover Don, and Space Cadet Raph.
Undercover
Yes.
Don, he was my
Dude,
man.
Plastic coat or fabric coat?
Plastic. I never had the undercover turtles. Those were again later on in the line, hella rare. I wish I had those turtles because it's kind of like the black belt storage shells, like figures I didn't know that existed, but we had them come through the shop, and I was like, huh.
Okay, yeah. I
But
didn't know about that either.
yeah, they's the spicy boys, price wise. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I have black enamel paint. I can make black belt storage. I don't. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Give it time.
Personal collection.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not going anywhere, I don't care.
Right.
I love that Undercover Donnie.
Dude, it wasn't until years and years later my dad made a crack about how he didn't have pants on, and all of a sudden it was just like shit. Like,
I mean,
that was the thing that broke my suspension of disbelief. Not the fact that he
That's
had a
Flasher
Groucho
Donnie.
Marx looking slap-on mask and 3 fingers and the flasher coat and a dagger sticking out of like of his, you know, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, he may be undercover, but like, Jesus, who would go up to him and be like, "Hi," you know? Like, I would see him and go, "Ah!" Like,
Casey Jones. Casey Jones would do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a suit and tie, like working in the mailroom. Villainous scum. God, that show was weird. I love it though. It's like the 2012 series is the same thing. Like I love it for whole different reasons because like watching Ollie watch it is neat, but there's like stupid shit for, you know, OG fans too. Like the first time they go up into the New York or into the Statue of Liberty, they're running around in there, and on the wall is scrawled "Venkman was here," and I'm just like,
nice.
like I'm a huge Ghostbusters nerd too, so it was that thing of just like, ooh.
Nice. That's one thing I regret not picking up at the time is when they did the Ghostbusters Ninja Turtle crossover, like what, 6 years ago, something like that. I wish I grabbed those
figures.
The figures, and I never grabbed them.
So the weird thing is, the figures were haunting because they were Ninja Turtles with hair, just like the friggin' Star Trek crossover, because they were supposed to look like combinations of the actor and the turtle. I only have one of them, and it's Mikey, and I swapped the head. And I swapped it with a 2012 TMNT Pez dispenser. Because I wanted it to look like the comic crossover, which my buddy Eric Burnham wrote. And I was like, that's the ticket. Like, that's what I wanted from it. Like, Burnham wrote all the Ghostbusters stuff, and then he was getting to write Turtles. And now he's writing Turtles monthly for the Saturday morning cartoon book that's coming out. He wrote
that's why I recognize the name.
Yeah.
Because there's like 50 comics right now for a turtle.
Like, Eric Burnham, Sarah Meyer, like 2 of the nicest people you'll ever meet. I know Dan Schoening got to do some variant covers. He was the artist for Ghostbusters and the Turtle Ghostbusters crossovers. Hella nice dude. Like, go support that book because they are wonderful people. So.
We're heroes in a half shell, we're making a surprise. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pie. Fresh from the sewers to you. Their minds are delicious, you know that's true. Because they're filled with mutagen goo. That's vanilla pudding, you got the tastiest, flakiest, greatest crust. Even better than on pizza. And it's green like us. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pie. Fresh from the sewers to you. Radically sweet.
It can't be beat.
And a free turtle sticker inside, that's neat. New from Boston. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pie. Fresh from the sewers to you.
I do remember my mom made me a costume when I was like 4 or 5. And it was like green hoodie, green sweats. I got to wear my sweet turtle kicks, like the slip-ons.
Oh man!
And then she made a cushion. She made it out of pleather that she had used to cover the the piano bench, and it was this ugly like mustard yellow. Like she made a little pad, and then on the back was this black like pleather like turtle shell looking thing. And oh man, dude, there's a picture of me. I think I posted it up a million years ago, but it's one of those things
That
that,
sounds amazing.
dude, my brother went as Mickey Mantle, and I went as Michelangelo, and my mom was a bee.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, it was great. It was super fun. And like the funny thing is that's like, you look back on things and it's like, man, I wish I still had that. Like I still wish I had that shell or that belt or anything.
I've got the you remember the PJ set with the
I have the
headband?
Michelangelo one.
I still have my Michelangelo one.
Okay, so
And-
here's a question for you, because this was something that has bugged me forever. So I remember getting those pajamas, and it had the
Mhm.
Michelangelo headband, but I also remember getting a nunchuck and a throwing star with it.
Yes, and it also had elbow pads.
Did it? Okay, I don't remember the elbow pad. But I
And
remember
or either elbow pads or wristband. Like maybe the size was like I wore it's one or the other, and I just wore it wrong. I don't know. You're a kid.
I just remember getting a nunchuck and a throwing star, and I remember losing
Yeah.
a throwing star really quick. And I also remember whacking myself in the
really
head
quick.
with the nunchucks going like, and just being a complete asshole.
See, I didn't have any of those, but what I did have is the Ninja Turtle, the Halloween costume, where it was like a plastic shell on your back, cloth in the front. But what I remember vividly, now that you mentioned the costume thing, is you had the bandana, but the bandana also had a rubber nose thing, and I can still remember the smell of that thing on my nose.
So, on a nerdy thing, I never owned any of those as a kid. When I was like 10 or 12, I found one in a garage sale, and I still have that one. But one of my brother's really good friends that I was lucky enough to become friends with was a huge turtle kid. And she just was like, I don't dig on turtles anymore. I got a box of turtle stuff if you want it. And it was like all her stuff from when she was a kid. And like there were turtle shoes in there that my son wore. There's a turtle baseball glove that he's used. There's, and then in one of the shoe boxes, there's all 4 sets of the turtle nose, the elbow pad, and the wristbands. And I was like, what?
That's awesome.
So he's rocked those.
That's so good.
The last couple of years. So
the one thing I wish I still had. So a couple of years ago, I got all my old toys from my dad's house. He wanted them gone, and I went through and I found all my turtle stuff, and I got rid of it all. I gave it to my buddy because he was looking to Technodrome, the sewer layer, and everything. He's a good friend, and he more than takes care of me with action figure stuff.
Yeah.
I kept one figure, and that was the Happy Birthday Mikey, where he's dressed as a clown.
Oh God, that figure is haunting.
My name is Mike. I got it for a birthday present when I was a kid, so it's kind of a memory to my parents forever. But one thing I wish I found in that box is when I was a kid, my dad took a couple 2x4s, took his jigsaw, cut out 2 sides for me, spray painted them silver, taped the handles up with electrical tape, and those are my size as a kid. And I would run around the house and outside going crazy with those. And I wish they were in those boxes, but they weren't.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. I'd have them hanging on my walls right now. Those little
dude, hell yeah,
like prop replicas.
Dude, I remember, like, again, I didn't have the play sets, but I remember making so many sewer layers out of boxes and tape and toilet paper tubes and all that stuff. And I remember we had this one that I think my brother and I would tape shit onto on the daily. Like, we fucking kept 3M in business. And we had it for like probably 1 or 2, maybe 3 years. And I don't know what happened to it, because it was one of those things of like one day it was just gone. And it was like, where to go? It's like, we're moving. What? So good times.
Yeah, no. It's always a good time.
It's one of those things where even if you have the actual play sets as a kid, nothing beats just constructing your own.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like sewer layer or just castle or whatever. Those are the days.
The big thing was my mom was a rep for Discovery Toys. which was like an educational toy company. It's still in
Yeah.
existence, but they had this. It was a building, like an interlocking building system, not like Lego. It was, I don't know. Okay, it was like the for a more of a rectangle or a square, and then it had a cut, a cut, a cut, a cut, and you could interlock them.
Okay.
And that was the thing. Like you could make all these crazy matrices and stuff like that. And it was called Frogs and Princesses. And everything was made out of those. I made bases, motorcycles, and did they look like them? Hell no. Did it matter? Hell no. Like it was awesome.
That's what you have an imagination
Oh
for.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, about 2 years ago, my mom, again, she was looking in that old wood cache, and she found the bucket of Frogs and Princesses, and Ollie
That's awesome.
plays with them now. Miles will probably play with them down the road. He's pretty young, so he's still a baby. So, when he gets of age, but yeah,
Like next year.
yeah.
That's awesome. I gotta hand stuff down to my daughter. She'll be 5 in July.
Oh dang!
But
Right on.
she's the son I've always wanted. like she has He-Man origin figures. She loves playing with those. He-Man, Skeletor, Battle Cat. She's got Ninja Turtle figures, Transformer figures. She's and I talked to you briefly about it. So many Bluey figures,
Yeah.
Bluey for days. But the funny thing about her is, and I've tried to get her to sit down and watch the Ninja Turtle. There you go. We got a blue heeler dog in November, and we named him Bandit. So,
awesome.
So all the stuff, I try and get her to sit down and watch the cartoons. She won't. She'll watch the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie and loves it, and she'll watch Secret of the Ooze and loves it.
But not the cartoon.
Won't watch the first Turtles. Won't watch the third Turtles. Won't watch any of the cartoons. But every time, could we watch Secret of the Ooze? Okay, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
The big difference between the first movie and the second movie, though, the first movie, we have movie nights here every Friday, and we got to a point where we just have like this, almost like a Wheel of Fortune wheel.
Yeah.
That we just put movie categories on, and we got superhero movies of like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So Turtles was one of them. It had to be. And I was like, all right. So I watched that movie, and I'm like, this is a very adult movie. Like, this is a pretty, like, in relation to like the second and third one, which clearly took a lot more influence from the cartoon.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Right? The second and third ones definitely took a lot more from the cartoon, but I could definitely see why, a 5-year-old may not want to watch that first movie.
The first one is straight up the Eastman and Laird comics.
Yeah.
It is.
Like no swapsies, as it were. Like that is a movie ripped straight from the comic. And even then it still had a much lighter feel and
lighter
tone.
Yeah, some of it. And then you get to Secret of the Ooze and Turtles 3, especially Turtles 3. And it's like way based on the cartoon and the Archies. And also, I'm throwing this out there. This was something that bugged the piss out of me as a little kid. They're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not Teenage Mutant Samurai Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, watching the third one, I'm like, come on! You had one job. Like, I know they went with the Kappa legend and all that stuff, and that was very cool. But I'm like, come on. They're ninjas. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
but I still
they
still loved it.
They got so much flack for the first movie with it being too violent. And that's why, if you notice, Secret of the Ooze, they don't have any weapons in it. Everything they use is combat cold cuts.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm just throwing it out there. My wife's great uncle, a butcher for 40 plus years. He was up, and Ollie and I were watching Secret of the Ooze, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to the extent of, "There must be some hell of a casing," and I just walked away. I'm like, whoa, okay.
I never even thought about that.
It's just
like like the fact that the casing definitely had
Spinning
like
around.
right. Like I don't think I ever thought about
Yeah.
that being.
I'm like, things I learned from Secret of the Ooze. Don't eat cold cuts, apparently. Especially salami sticks if they're in a
And
basement deli, which I suppose the term basement deli should have been the thing that tipped me off.
also, maybe the pizza delivery guy kid kicked the crap out of you.
Yeah, right. Oh man, Kino! I'm so excited for that figure. And
Right?
I was telling
That
Maya
looks
about,
good, yeah.
Maya about it, and she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "It's the pizza delivery guy. Like, it's gonna be awesome."
And
She's like,
he comes with a scooter. Come on, like.
although also I do remember getting in a little bit of trouble as a small kid because I did not understand what Kino was saying, and he goes, "Oh, hey ladies, which one of you is gonna ride with me tonight?" And they're like, "Back off, dweeb." And he's like, "Fine, next time I'll dream of something a little thinner." And as a little
Ooh.
kid, I was thinking, pizza. And I said that in class.
It's definitely thin crust.
It did not go over well. I said it to like a para or something as I was leaving. It was dumb. It was stupid. And thankfully, like, they did not talk to my parents. They were just like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "It's from a movie. It's from Ninja Turtles." Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Felt like fucking Carl from Jimmy Neutron. "I'm sorry, mister." I just wanted
Oh, jeez.
the crust.
I mean, there's full circle right there because who did he play in Ninja
Rob
Turtles?
Paulson?
He was Raphael.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I was just listening to. He has an awesome autobiography called Voice Lessons. That's a phenomenal listen and a phenomenal read. I highly recommend the audiobook because
Nice.
it's him talking about all his crazy career and everything. It's awesome.
Nice.
He used.
Nice.
I don't know if he still has a podcast, but it was actually like the first podcast I
Talking
listened to. Yeah, he with him and Jess Harnell were at like a local convention, and he was talking about it, and I was like, oh, okay. It was literally the first podcast like I ever listened to in my life.
That is the podcast that has Kevin Conroy, the iconic animated series Batman, doing Christian Bale's monologue or like conversation with Commissioner Gordon on it, but it's Kevin Conroy doing
That's
it, and
awesome.
it's chilling. It's amazing.
I think is actually a better Batman. I'm not.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I mean,
right, like
Kevin Conroy, Batman.
He's I think he's most people's preferred.
Well, I'm of two camps because I love Kevin Conroy as Batman, and I love Adam West. I'm a huge '66 Batman fan. Always have been, always will be. But yeah, West and Conroy are those. If I think of Batman, 90% of the time it's Kevin Conroy because it's like, oh,
yeah,
they're not using shark repellent. Okay, it's not Adam West. Like,
right? Yeah, because I mean, he did so many of them.
Yeah.
But on the Rob Paulson thing, that was like the first. Like I said, that was the first podcast I started listening to because of that.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, go listen to all of it. support that man for the love of God.
No,
he's a national treasure,
dude.
He really is. You go.
Well, okay. So I got last year. So I've been doing comics and stuff 17, 18 years, and doing shows and stuff. I've never done a photo op. I never like, I'd go stop by and like say hi to people, but I'd never, paid money for a photo op, signatures, all that stuff. Like, I just didn't have time. I'd be at my table hawking my wares and stuff like that. And last summer at C2E2, all four of the core four, like the brothers, were there. And so, there's Rob and Townsend and Cam Clark and Barry Gordon, and they're all there. And I was like, fuck it. They're not getting any younger, and this is a dream. So I went up, I got the photo op done with him. I was talking to him for a little bit. And then I was like, I got the NECA control art turtle 4-pack, so like the bright green ones. I got them all to sign it in paint pen in their individual colors.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I do it. I can't see.
So,
but getting to meet them was insanely cool. And
so it's the animated series,
yeah,
Turtle
the
Man.
van.
And
you got
that's Rob right there.
Hell yeah.
Because he was at Rhode Island last year, but this year, all 4 and April and Eastman is going to be there too.
That's cool. Yeah.
So
I want to get that set signed by Eastman and Laird, but in red, because their bandana colors would have been red.
Yep. Yeah. That's awesome.
But actually, so last year on the that's neat. On the marathon stream, so every year I participate in Extra Life, which if you haven't checked it out, go check it out, extra-life.org/participant/Dave Wonder.
yeah,
but
you're a monster on
those,
by the way.
What?
You're a monster on those, by the way.
Oh, dude, it's fun. It's stupid. As it's called, it's a bad idea for a good cause. But last year, Townsend Coleman and Renee Jacobs, the original Michelangelo and the original April O'Neil, came onto the show, and
yeah, that's awesome.
I had to bite my tongue to not just nerd the fuck out. And I will give you guys the scoopsies. If you thought that was cool, tune in this year, because you're gonna see me lose my damn mind. And it's gonna be great.
Nice.
So stay tuned.
Definitely.
I see what you did there.
YouTube.com/Dave Wonder.
Absolutely.
Shill. Oh God, I almost fell over.
Ambulance.
My sciatic.
Yeah.
My face.
So an interesting thing that you might want to know, not really, but who knows? Nick and I probably live about 40 minutes away from Dover, New Hampshire, which is where Eastman and Laird created Ninja Turtles. They are getting a commemorative sewer cover put in for the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they're doing a historical landmark too on the original Mirage. Yeah, did they actually hit the funding goal? I know they were trying to raise money for it. So
yeah, they did. It's going in production. There's going to be a custom manhole cover in Dover, New Hampshire.
That's
cool. For the Turtles, which is amazing.
I always, in the back of my head, I always say Maine, and I'm like, I know it's not Maine, but I say it every fucking time, and I'm like,
it's because nobody thinks about New Hampshire being a state.
Yeah.
Well, they also moved to Maine. That's where they live now, or at least Eastman does.
Yeah.
And Laird is down in Mass.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. He just doesn't.
He doesn't do anything.
Go anywhere.
Yeah.
He's a hermit.
But I mean, he doesn't have to.
Nope.
Like, good for him. Like as
right?
As an indie comics guy, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, go.
There was so Eastman was at a different convention locally last year the convention was very focused on like Turtles and the Last Ronin. So Eastman was there. There was actually a fake set of the sewer layer set up that you could have photos taken at and everything.
Cool.
I was standing in line for Eastman, and there was a guy who used to teach art in the 80s.
Okay.
Right? So he was talking about how like he taught weird, like he taught differently. He's like, I'm teaching you guys art, but what do you guys want to do? So it was around the time the comics started coming out, right? So the kids were bringing in the comics, and he started teaching them like how the art and like how to draw the turtles and like how the way they did everything. So after that happened, he ended up with like the first 20 comics. Like the kids just gave him the comics.
That's awesome.
So he was there to have Eastman sign like the first printings of them.
That's cool.
Wow.
And Eastman, like the guy was standing right behind me, so I was like packing that thing up. And I have a weird Mirage poster, and I still have no idea where I got it from, but it's like it's the turtles underwater.
Huh.
And even he was confused. He's like, I haven't seen this for years. I was like, look, I've had this since I was a kid. I have no idea where I got it. I have like one idea where I got it from. It was like from this uncle that used to be a massive comic collector.
Yeah.
So I have to think it came from him. Anyway, so I was standing there packing my stuff up, and Eastman was like, Are these first printings? How do you have these? So then I listened to the art teacher tell Eastman how he got them, and that was really cool.
Like one of the coolest things about Turtle Comics today is there are some absolutely phenomenal people working on them. Like I mentioned, Burnham and Sarah and Dan and Tim, and then with The Last Ronin, you have Ben Bishop, and you want to talk about a fucking amazing dude who is living his best life. That is Ben. I got to know him through a couple toy groups and like doing Artist Alley for years and years. And when he got picked up, like you had not witnessed sheer joy until you've seen him talk Turtles. And shout out to Ben.
He was there.
Yeah, Ben rules
at the convention.
See, and like he has a couple amazing creator-owned books. He has Nathan the Caveman and The Aggregate. Highly recommend them. Really good reads. So scope those out. I mean, obviously Last Ronin's badass too, but you gotta support creator-owned books like the Ninja Turtle.
It's true.
But
yeah, no. Ben was there, and he was like, "You're right." Like, it was him and San Loco and I forget the brothers' names, but and then Bob Chakik. I forget how to pronounce his last name.
Okay.
And it was all the people that were there. But you're right. Like, Ben had this look whenever he was just sitting there. Like, he had like all this turtle stuff, like skateboards and all these other super awesome things that are really cool. And like, I was like, hey, do some remarks on some of these. He's like, who do you want? I was like, you pick. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, do it. And he's like, oh, all right, cool. So he just got like really happy and he's sitting there doing his remarks and stuff. And you're right. It's
fucking awesome.
It is. I go to a lot of conventions, and I like the interactions with people like that. Like, seeing Eastman's face when he got to hold first printings, and other weird stuff. That it's always a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Joys of good.
It's always fun when the people that bring you joy are also having joy for the same thing. It's always it makes it that much more enjoyable for yourself, or at least for me. Seeing that like you have that connection. It's not just a job for them. It's a love and a passion.
They really enjoy it, right?
I think that's been the surreal thing since I started like the YouTube stuff. Because I have a lot of folks that are regulars at comic conventions and stuff that will come up and I sketch for them year after year after year after year. But folks from the YouTube channel, the COJ and stuff, which in case you don't know is the Consortium of Jackasses, the name of the fantastic people in the chat who you may or may not know. But just saying. The name came about because of one of the earlier streams. I'm like, I don't know what to call the chat, like fans, subscribers, chat. Like at the end of the day, we're a group of jackasses on the internet, and someone chimed in, well, that's not fancy enough. I'm like, fine, we're a consortium of jackasses on the internet. So
you gotta be fancy then.
Yeah, so the COJ was born, and having folks come up to me at toy shows and comic cons and have me sign their figures and do that type of stuff is just fucking wild. And so cool, like, and something really fun, because I've been a toy collector my entire life, and I've been a comic artist a damn good chunk of it too. So, like signing the hood from Marvel Legends with Dick Bullets and then the Dave Wonder signature is kind of fun, because
nice.
It's what they are. But again, a story for another stream, I guess. But yeah,
after dark.
Yeah, right.
Got a little blue. Sorry. But yeah,
I still think so. To bring it back to back in the day, I still think one of my weird favorite things was getting VHS tapes at Burger King.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Dude, the what is it? Sky High or Mile High, the one with the turtle blimp.
Yeah.
I quite literally burned through that tape. Like,
Great Boldini.
yep. So I actually have all 4 of the tapes over on my shelf, and so I'll try and snap a picture because it's messy over there right now. But I have them all on edge, like, so that fills out the border of one of my dioramas is all the VHS tapes.
That's awesome.
So,
Nice.
just because I'm like, I
Those
want to
things
put
are
them in
gold.
somewhere. Sky Turtles is the name of that VHS. There we go.
Yes.
But
Damn.
yeah,
That
also
was a great one.
the sneaky ninjas that are supposed to be silent and move in the shadows that have a blimp.
I have the turtle blimp, the toy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
At least
It
it didn't
is.
have a
It-
scrolling marquee on it.
Yet,
We have the technology.
yeah. Well, that
We
was
can
like
make them
throw a
better,
Raspberry Pi
faster,
on
and
there.
stronger.
one
Oh, they're
of
going over football stadiums dumping turtle
Yeah.
pies.
Yeah, I always loved, like, even as a little kid, where they're just like, yes, there's the turtle blimp. Here it comes. Okay, cool. All right, we need to get down there to attack. Okay, what can this thing do? Well, we detach from the blimp and fall. What? And just like, let go, ka-chink, and just whee, like there. I believe the kids call it yeeting. It's one of those things. I'm like, you have a giant metal glider that you are detaching from a balloon. That now the balloon is just floating up into the ether, apparently. But their methodology of
No, it was attached. It was a very long string.
was it? 'Cause I remember even as a little kid, I'm like, what happened to the balloon? Like, just like, is it just chilling there? Like, Donatello.
Well,
Donatello.
I assure you, the toy, the balloon just fell
Yeah.
And made
because it didn't have helium in it.
Ugh.
Because I don't have helium in my lungs.
I'm still trying to figure out. Oh, damn it. I don't know where that went. I'm still trying to figure out, as a little kid, one of my friends, for his birthday, had a turtle blimp, and it must have been a balloon, because I remember it floating. And I don't think you could fill that turtle blimp with helium, and it would be enough helium to float that thing.
Huh.
But I vividly remember it just being like, like, just like, what happened?
That's great.
I don't know. Now I have like weird theories to test, I think.
Right? I mean,
Once
it's not
I
that
unpack-
hard of a theory. Go to Party City, buy a tank of helium, and let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're currently still packed away for me.
What
We'll
are you
unpack
doing,
them, and
honey?
that sounds like
Nothing.
that sounds like our first live stream event, Nick.
Live stream unpacking my turtles.
Whole
No,
party.
filling the blimp with helium,
Oh, okay.
and let's do a drop test.
Do you think there's a leak? No, not at all.
Are you sure?
Represent the lollipop guild, the lollipop guild, the lollipop guild. Pudding. Fuck, I'm gonna start doing that instead of shouting Kobe when I throw shit in the trash. Pudding. R.I.P.
Oh
That took a weird
jeez.
turn. Sorry.
It's all good.
But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just realized I'm like, at one point you were asking questions, and we just were like, hey.
The honest answer is
Yeah, just
that's what we wanted.
okay, cool. I was just making sure. I'm
Right.
like, I didn't want to break
No.
form.
The form, no. So that's and that's one of those things. The questions are there so we can start the thing. But the reality is, as the talking, the everything. That's what we're looking for. That's what this is about. That's what we want to do. Is reminisce about how we were we very much had active imaginations
Poor
as
diets.
children. Very poor diets, every shape of mac and cheese.
Oh God.
The SpaghettiOs, like you said, every shape and color of them.
Stand by the
Cereal.
Spider-Man mac and cheese. That spider web, the most efficient delivery system of fluorescent orange cheese goo.
Nice.
The turtle van was no slouch.
It was no slouch, but I think that spider web had a little bit more circumference, as they say.
You had the cereal that turned your cereal green.
Oh yeah.
You were drinking the ooze.
Dude, I just remember that cereal, like pouring that cereal out the first time and being like, it's Chex. Like it's corn Chex with marshmallows. Like brilliant. Like, let's go. Meanwhile, if I had a bowl of Chex, I'd be like,
it's somewhat healthy with marshmallows.
Was it though? I was gonna say,
No.
like, the green
No, the Chex part is the healthy part.
The freeze-dried sugar sludge that formed those marshmallows that looked like turtles.
They had whole grains, so it's healthy. That's how we would. Again, going back in the day, if it had whole grains,
hold up. Do you also remember that part of your complete breakfast was like, here's a bowl of cereal and a giant-ass muffin, a stack of toast, a thing of orange juice, a thing of milk? I'm like, so 80% of that diet was carbs. No wonder I grew up eating what I grew up. Like, you know what? Oh, and the one orange slice. Because they're like, no, here, you get that one.
That's for the whole orange lasts all week.
Yeah.
You only have to have the one orange.
One other breakfast conspiracy. Y'all remember Tropicana commercials where they took the paper red and white straw and they were like, ha ha, orange juice.
Yeah.
And then sucked it dry like a goddamn vampire. You know what?
Never worked.
That was bullshit.
Never did.
Yeah. Gonna say.
Yeah. We all tried it.
I just remember breaking it. I remember looking everywhere for those red and white striped straws. I didn't know that they were paper. Like I didn't know that that was a thing. I mean, it was the 90s. Everything was plastic. And I remember finally finding
them. Still around today.
Dude, I remember finding them in the grocery store and being like, I'm going to do it. And I was like, oh, like just
the straw just like
bounded.
Crumbles.
It's like punching a Capri Sun wrong.
Oh, dude, there's no wrong way to punch a Capri Sun unless you step on it. Like I used to fucking like
stab through them.
I never did that. Well, okay, I probably did, but I just remember doing like the kalima and like stabbing it in like the top and like like take that sucker down.
Well, the problem is when you stab it in the designated stabbing hole, and you gotta like squeeze the pouch to inflate it at the top to get the straw in, and then you do that, and then all the liquid just comes out of the straw. And
did you guys ever blow into the straw so it hyperinflated the thing so that it would squeeze the juice for you? Because that was always my trick.
Yeah, but what you do is when you're done with it, you blow it back up with the straw, pull the straw out, then you stomp on it, and it makes the thing explode.
Oh, yeah.
That was the key.
Yeah.
I did that once at the Science Museum, and I got yelled at by security. Good time.
Yeah, I have recollections of doing that in like the hallway and stuff at school and getting yelled at for doing it. Yeah. Somebody recently set the world record for drinking a Capri Sun, and the internet exploded because they're like, look, you give that to me after I've run around outside, you're wrong. You took 10 whole seconds to drink a Capri Sun, and that's the world record. You're dumb.
I just remember
challenge accepted.
It had to be high school. One of my friends used to take a Capri Sun and take a scissors and go, and I was just like,
"You savage!"
My brain was blown. My mind was blown. I'm like, I never thought of that. Like it's like taking I have a friend who used to take a can opener to soda, like and just drink it like a cup. I'm like a sharp cup, but
it's definitely gonna cut you and give you every.
Good thing you're drinking Dr. Pepper because you need medical attention.
Right.
Your lips look a little chapped. No, they just cut off from the can.
Pibb, you're out of luck, Doc. Like, oh man. Now I'm just thinking of all the stupid like bootleg sodas. Not bootlegs, but the alternative sodas like Shasta. Would you like to drink Mountain Lightning or Miss Doc Shasta? Jesus. Anyways, or the effervescent cola, or rock and rye was the other one. Oh my god!
That one.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, good times.
I was gonna say that might be a local Midwest.
Well,
thing.
I didn't know Shasta apparently came from like Colorado, but like the like boony like not boony, but like okay, again, half my family's from the Iron Range, so like northern Minnesota, like South Canada, like you go up there to Zoops, which was short for Tupachnik Brothers. ZUPS was the grocery store. Is the grocery store? It's still around. Shout out to their hot mustard and hot bologna sandwiches. It's a damn fine meal. But yeah, right. Don't you fucking judge, man, until you've tried it.
I've done it. I
was like,
always forget that's
thing.
It's like a national dish out there.
Dude, I just remember my uncle would like go and he'd be like, "Oh, we're having hot bologna sandwiches today," and like he comes back and it looks like a fucking tuna can of bologna on like a fucking
yeah, you got like 6 slices, right?
Like hamburger bun. And it's like that's a lot of bologna. But yeah, that with hot mustard, it's a good damn day. You throw in a little A&W there, and you're having a good fine night there. It's gonna be a good time. Not for the outhouse, but it'll be good. Memories.
Go to some Tim Hardy's. Tom Hardy's.
Oh, Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons. That's something.
Dude, Tim Hortons are a Canadian thing, man. Like they came down into the States for like a year, and then I guess the person who like licensed them in the States was like, "Oh, we have to pay you." And then they were like, and then Tim Hortons magically went away. They fucking poochied it.
And just like, as mysteriously as they came, they were gone. Thank you again for being a guest. We appreciate it. And tell everybody what you got going on right now.
I'm recording this podcast, which I'm not doing it. No, I'm incredibly stoked to be on here. I really appreciate being on. Episode 1's a big thing, and super stoked to be here. If you ever want me back, happy to be here. You know how to get a hold of me. And for those that don't, You can hit me up on Instagram at @DaveWheeler. You can hit me up on Twitter at Dave Wheeler. You can find me over on Patreon at patreon.com/DaveWonder, on YouTube at youtube.com/DaveWonder, Twitch, twitch.tv/DaveWonder, or just go to davewonder.com and all the links are included in there. You can also tell cancer to F right off and go hit up a fantastic fundraiser over at extra-life.org/participant/DaveWonder, or just go over to extra-life.org and give money to any of the fantastic people participating in that, because cancer can F right off. I got Des Moines Con coming up at the beginning of June. I'm taking May off from shows. You can find me streaming on YouTube and Twitch Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, sometimes Saturdays too. But Monday is Let's Talk Toys, which is toy news, toy chat, and that much more. Tuesday is Chop and Shop, which is live customization, answering questions on repair and toy restoration, and just being talkative and having a fantastic conversation. Then Wednesday is Grippin' and Rippin', which is unboxing, freeing those sweet bits of plastic from those pesky cardboard prisons. And then there's much more. So go over, check it out, like, comment, subscribe, all that rigmarole. And hey, do the same here, because these guys are putting together something awesome. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
And that, folks, brings us to the end. Thank you for tuning into Your Childhood's Trash. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. If you liked the topic and it brought back some memories, hit the like button and comment letting us know. Don't forget to connect with us on all the socials and check ycwcast.com for any new ventures. See you on the next episode. Same trash time, same trash channel.
So anyways, turtles are really good, and your childhood was trash if you didn't watch Ninja Turtles. Good night, everybody. Yeah. Sorry.